Alright, I thought I'd throw in a few more open string chords because I want you to have them all, at least the main ones. And we're going to add today E minor 7. We've already learned E7. We're going to learn E minor 7, A major 7, B major 7, and G7. Okay, so that's going to pretty much bring you up to speed with all the possible open string chords. There are more, of course, but you know, I'm just showing you the main ones for now. The E minor 7, pretty cool sounding. We're going to have, hear that? Just a plain E minor sounds like this. Okay, adding a 7th to it. Okay, gives it a different sound to it. Okay. We're also going to learn A7. And we're going to learn B7. That one goes well with going back and forth between an E chord. To do a B7. And then we're also going to learn G7, which sounds like this. G major 7. And again, I know I've said it before, but if we just say G or E or A, we just assume we're talking about a major chord. Now we can say major and that's fine, but if we don't say anything, everyone will assume you're talking about a major chord, unless you say minor. And you have to say minor if you're referring to a minor chord. And that's very important because it's a totally different chord. Okay, so E minor 7, this is how we'll finger it. Finger it the same way you finger the E minor chord, where you have the low E open, and you have your first finger, your pointer finger on 2nd fret on the A, middle finger on 2nd fret on the D, and then open G, open B, and open E. That was the E minor. We're going to add our pinky, or you can use your ring finger if you want. Doesn't matter, I like to use my pinky, it's easier for me, on the B string on 3rd fret. So right here is where we're adding a finger. There you can see that. Okay, so that gives us an E minor. So finger the chord and then check it out. Make sure all the notes coming out. Really nice sounding chord. And a relaxing chord. Then we're going to do A7. Now, A7 is actually pretty easy. Remember when we did A this way? Or this way, if you wanted to play it that way, or we barred it. Well, you can't bar it on an A7. You won't be able to do this bar, so you can't do that. What we're going to do is just let go of the G string and have it be open, and that gives us an A7. So an A7 is going to be open on the low E. If you want the low E in there, you don't have to have it. Doesn't hurt it if you do have it, though. A is open. The D string will be 2nd fret. The G string will be open, and then the B string will be 2nd fret as well, giving us a C sharp note. And then the high E is open. So that gives us an A7. Now going back and forth between E minor 7 and A7 is a really nice sound. You know. Sounds like a Pink Floyd song. Okay, so E minor 7 to A major 7. Now, the next chord we have is B7, which is going to be this. Now, this one is going to use all 4 fingers, but it's also an open string chord. Okay, so it's not a movable chord like the F chord that we learned, where we can move it, you know, all over the place, and it's still, you know, a chord. The B7 is like this. You don't want the low E, absolutely not on this. So no low E, but we want 2nd fret on the A, okay? And that's going to be with the middle finger, like that. Now on the D string, we're going to want 1st fret with the pointer finger. So that's what we have so far. Now, on the G string, we want our ring finger to be on the 2nd fret there. So that would look like that. Okay, and then we want the B string to be open, so don't touch the B string, it's open. And then finally we want our pinky to be on the 2nd fret on the high E there with the pinky. So that's a you know, it's a hard chord to land quickly, but it's a B7 chord, and it works really well going going back to, you know, an E chord, between an E chord and a B7. And that's mostly when you'll see it. So anyway, let's, oh, there's one more chord, the G7. And so am I saying G major 7 or G minor? If I just say G, I'm talking about a G major 7th chord. Now, you know the G was like this. So we already learned G. Well, all you're doing is changing the high E string from a fret 3 to the 1st fret. And then we have it, but we have to finger it this way. Okay, because we have to put our first finger over here. So this is how you'll finger it. You'll have low E 3rd fret with the ring finger, like that. And then you're going to have the A string, 2nd fret with the middle finger. Okay? And then you're going to have the 1st finger on the high E string on the 1st fret. And that all the other strings are open. That gives you a G7 chord, like that. Alright, so if we go E minor 7 to A7, and then B7, and then G7. So that works. That's kind of an unusual chord progression, but I think it works. And the strumming pattern for this, you can just go down, 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 up, down, and then change. And then the B7. And then the G7. You know, and incorporate your other chords with it too if you want. So whatever sounds good to you. G7. Good, and a good way to test yourself, if you've tabbed out all these chords, you know how to play them, is just on a piece of paper, write down all the chords that you should know, and you know, and cut them up and just put them in a hat and pick one out, you know, and set it on the table, and then see if you can nail it, you know, in 5 seconds, and then do, you know, continue with the other chords. Put them in any order, and then go from one chord to the next chord, because what you need to know is how to finger the chord by memory without having to look at something, and you need to be able to move from one chord, you know, from any chord to another chord easily, back and forth. So those things are very important. So let's get to the next lesson.